Hello everyone, and welcome to another webinar brought to you by Raz-Lee Security. I'm Eli Spitz, Vice President of Business Development at Raz-Lee, and in this webinar, we'll show you how you can use the iSecurity business intelligence capabilities, called Visualizer, to analyze network access log entries and find the needle in the haystack. In order to do so, we'll show you how to isolate the network hacker, including their username, IP address, and more, how to set up an automatic detection rule so that the next time this person tries to access your IBMI, they're caught, and all this in 5 minutes or less. So let's now look at the iSecurity GUI window. On the left-hand side of the screen, you see the navigation tree of iSecurity GUI. Different products, different capabilities such as queries and reports, user management, compliance, etc. We're here at Business Intelligence looking at the firewall network access log entries that we've analyzed and put into a data warehouse. This data warehouse has almost 300,000 records, which can be looked at by the dimensions of date, system, user, server, IP, function, library, object, type, and result. So let's begin filtering these almost 300,000 records, and you'll see how quick and easy it is to do. Let's pick a few days, perhaps here in the month of September, where we have some information. Let's look at the IP addresses that accessed our system on those days. We see here a list of IP addresses. By the way, this list can be sorted by quantity or by IP address. Let's choose some of the IP addresses that seem to be interesting, perhaps this entire range of IP addresses. Let's then look at the functions that were accessed by these IP addresses on these dates and select those which relate to FTP. Now we're down to 31 entries out of the original 300,000. Let's look at the result. In other words, were these network accesses rejected or were they allowed? Let's choose those which were rejected. So now we're down to 20 entries. And what I'll do now is I'll drill to the data. In other words, I'm going to retrieve the network access rules and events from our network access log. They appear here on the screen. Some of them were performed in operation mode FYI, which is simulation mode. These down here were performed under normal processing. Let's choose one of these events, perhaps from September 23rd by user Raz-Lee, to create a detection rule. What I'm going to do now is create a rule so that the next time this particular event occurs, we will catch the event and send an email. So perform action. Let's browse the actions. I've chosen here a predefined action which will send an email alert. And perhaps I want to view the events which occurred outside of working hours. At this point, I can set filter conditions based upon the information in the event which I've begun to work on. So let's look at server ID equals 02, which has to do with FTP. IP address equals the IP address in question, and the user profile name Raz-Lee. Let's compact these so we see them here all at the top. Perhaps the user profile name, which equals Raz-Lee, perhaps we can change this. Let's say we want to call this list, and we can add other user profile names to this list. So perhaps we will look at these 4 user profiles instead of the original one, Raz-Lee, and perhaps the IP address that we listed here instead of subnet mask 58, how about if we write that if we specify that the IP address begins with this string of values. So now we have set up our filter condition. Next, we can set up a message to send. This is a message that will be sent by the email. So job, for example, replacement job. This information will be filled in dynamically at runtime from IP address, and replacement field is the IP address, was initiated by user, let's say replacement profile, user profile name, and I think you understand the point. I do next, classification, explanation. This is free format text. And I can then finish, and I've got a detection rule which will be initiated the next time this event occurs, and the data in the event adheres to the filter conditions. So in short, and to summarize, I've showed you how to isolate the network hacker from a particular IP address, a particular user ID, user profile, on a certain date in question. I've shown you how to set up an automatic detection rule, and all this in 5 minutes or less. Thank you. Have a great day.